This is Siddharth Alwalia. Welcome to the 100x Entrepreneur Podcast. This episode is brought to you by Prime Venture Partners, an early stage VC fund led by Amit Somani, Shripati Acharya, and Sanjay Swami. Prime is often the first institutional investor in category creating tech startups in fintech, SaaS, healthcare, and education, such as MoneyTap, Happy, Mfine. To know more about Prime, visit primevp.in. Today, I have with me Amit Somani, Managing Partner, Prime Venture Partners. Amit has been a friend, a mentor, and an ex-boss also. I had a brief stint working at Prime, but what I learned in the brief stint was what one would learn in more than 1 year of entrepreneurship. Today, we are going to discuss what goes behind in making of a podcast. Prime Venture Partner Podcast and 100x Entrepreneur, both are now well-known brands in Indian podcasting space. And we are going to explore the nitty-gritties in the art and science of what goes behind in creating a successful podcast. Amit, welcome to the podcast.
Thanks a lot, Siddharth. Great to be here. And congratulations for all the success with 100x. I think this is going to be close to your 100th episode for 100x. So quite a significant milestone. So let me start, Siddharth, by asking you a question on your own podcast. Why did you get started with 100x? And what are some of the early lessons you learned in the journey?
So 100x Entrepreneur didn't start, out of intention of creating a podcast. I have been an entrepreneur almost all my life of, 9 to 10 years of working life. And during that journey, I couldn't build a very successful company. I built a mild successful company, which has raised a seed and a seed plus round. So, and I had myself been rejected by hundreds of VCs, including Prime Venture Partners, when I was pitching to you. So I had this, nudge within me that, I need to know a mind of a VC, in order to build a large venture whenever I'm starting out next time. And how do I to start about it? So, the first few episodes, what I went, is with a phone of mine, a normal Xiaomi phone. And I went to office of my investors, to know their mind. I said, so sir, I want to record up audio with you and, help me understand your mind, how you make investments, how you judge entrepreneurs, how you make no decisions, yes decisions. And I'll record it and share it on Google Drive on LinkedIn. So that, and the first 4 or 5 episodes were like that. And people started telling me, after 4 or 5, when I started receiving comments and good likes on LinkedIn and Twitter, that, hey, you have a nice podcast. So it was never, I thought this is not a podcast. I'm sharing audio recording. But then it occurred to me, let's make it a podcast, what people call it. And this is back in 2017, 18, when podcasting was not as arrived in India as it is today, where people didn't knew IVM or any other podcast. It was just getting started. And I believe one philosophy or one thing which has remained with me till now, why I continue to build 100x is I let my curiosity lead to meaningful conversations. And these conversations should add significant delta to my learnings and learnings of fellow entrepreneurs like me.
Absolutely. No, very, very interesting.
Amit, so I would love to know from you, so this episode is a special one because we are both co-host and co-guest in this conversation. I would love to know from you, why did you start Prime Venture Podcast and what is required to make a successful podcast?
Yes, Siddharth. So we started it with the very simple kind of intent of saying, this is our way to sort of, give back to the community. And we have access to a lot of great people, right? Entrepreneurs, VCs, influencers, people that have been there, done that. And wouldn't it be great if we could find and share their learnings with the entrepreneurial ecosystem in India and beyond? That was kind of the singular motivation. You, of course, helped us along in the journey. This is our second attempt at the podcast. We also started early in 2015, 2016. And we had very, very interesting guests back then as well. Nandan Nilekani, Naveen Tiwari, Chamath Palpitia. But you helped us kind of restart the podcast when you worked with us for your brief stint. And what we learned is it is almost like doing a product. like in product management, there's a lot that goes into the podcast. It's not just, like you said, audio recording shared on a G Drive or LinkedIn. It's about the cadence of the podcast, right? The consistency of the podcast. It's about the construction of the episode in terms of, do you have a false start? Do you have an audiogram that talks about the highlights of the podcast, right? It's about distribution. So it's a lot of work, and you got us started. And then, of course, our colleague, Shikhar Prateek has sort of taken it to another level.
So, Amit, key insights, is a host important? Is the guest most important? What's the chemistry in making of a podcast?
Yes, Siddharth. I think one of the big learnings we have, and Shikhar points this out quite regularly to us for our podcast, is, the host is as important as the guest. Obviously, a lot of the learnings and the lessons and the stories come from the guest, but the host sets the tonality of the podcast, right? What does your podcast stand for? So we are looking for entrepreneurial insights. We're looking for, how some things got made. We're looking for sort of, what are the 10x insights? Here talking on a 100x podcast. And so those things are very, very important, right? In terms of the making of the podcast, because I think entrepreneurs and in general sort of content is being consumed. There's just so much content out there. There's so many podcasts, there's so many blogs. So what your podcast stands for is very, very critical. And the hosts kind of help bring that out with the guests. So you consistently get that same kind of content. In our case, we publish every Thursday right now. So people know to expect, that consistency as well. Siddharth, you've been running this for a while as well, right? The 100x podcast. And you also talk a lot about the fact, much like in product management or in entrepreneurship, that it's no longer about just the podcast, right? Or the content. It's also about distribution. And you seem to have cracked that meaningfully. Can you share some insights and thoughts on content and distribution?
So, when I started 100x, I had already been an entrepreneur 2 times. And as much as how we entrepreneurs, love building products, the first time, or I would say name entrepreneurs like me, forget about distribution. So I had a clear, burnt my hands on, not focusing on distribution from day one. And I learned it slowly over a period of my entrepreneurship journey. But while starting podcast, I knew that, if I have to put, let's say, 20% of my time in building content, then 80% of the time has to go on investing in distribution. So what I did is, right from the 4th or 5th episode, I started a emailing list. Today, the emailing list is more than 20,000 people who have subscribed to 100x Entrepreneur on email. But this all took 2 years of time. I had built myself 20 episodes. I did everything for the first 20 episodes. Sourcing a guest, scheduling time with a guest, which is very difficult. Then the recording goes before, pandemic happened. I used to go out in person because it just helped build a more meaningful relationship. And the eye contact is special when you are recording in person. And after 20 episodes, when I had done all the grunt work myself of publishing it, sending out emailers every Monday, 2 p.m., I got my team member, Amit Kumar, who then religiously shares the email every Monday for the last 70 episodes. And he has done it without even a delay of 1 minute. Twitter and LinkedIn are, again, very important distribution mediums for us. So every episode we share, the pre of a podcast with a 1 minute snippet, right? I also use a hack to get initial good guests, because in a podcast, what happens is when you bring a guest, the guest also shares because it's his brand which is also getting built. So I asked, through a 1 minute video, which I used to do after a podcast, tell me 3 VCs who you would like to nominate on 100x Entrepreneur podcast. And that got me started to a chain of, guests nominating other guests. So that was another very important hack. The third is very early, I got introduced to the right team in Your Story by a few guests to say, hey, can Your Story help us with promoting our episode well? And the other reason is also because VCs are not as celebrated in the entrepreneur ecosystem as the people who they invest in, and they also want it to be like that way. But whenever they are getting covered, so VCs like to make sure that they are getting the proper distribution also. So that helped me also. So they connected me to Your Story, and I put in all the efforts to make that relationship meaningful even for Your Story. That after that they covered each and every episode of 100x. So that has again been a great source of distribution for me. So to summarize it again, building an emailer list from day one for your content, getting the best possible guest, and what worked for me was guest nominating other guests. And third is partnership with a content giant like Your Story helped make 100x Entrepreneur what it is today.
Absolutely. I remember being on the, one of the guests on your show maybe like a year ago on the 3 nominations, right? I think
Yes.
And obviously I nominated 3 other people. So I think that's probably an all-time great hack for podcasts. And the other thing I would add to the distribution is there's a lot of content people are consuming on the podcast side on various platforms, right? So somebody's doing it on SoundCloud, somebody's doing it on Google Podcasts, somebody's doing it on iTunes. So actually making it accessible and available everywhere where people consume is another thing that really helps, which is much beyond what you see on the actual podcast. It's how do we make it accessible to everyone?
Right, Amit. Both Prime Venture Podcast and 100x Entrepreneur are available today now more than on 20 such apps and platforms. So I think we haven't missed anything. And whenever a new platform emerges, we try to get onto it as soon as possible. So Amit, you listen to a lot of podcasts. How do you select, which podcast do you listen to, and what's your learning, from listening to so many podcasts?
Yes, I've been a very kind of voracious listener of podcasts and sort of reader of books. And in fact, probably I used to do a lot more of this even before I started the podcast with Prime and the rest of the team at Prime. And it has helped me in many different ways, right? So first to your question about what do I listen to? So there are some great podcasts, right? So I like Invest Like the Best. I like, the Knowledge Podcast, right? I like the Andreessen Horowitz podcast. So there's a whole bunch of podcasts. And now what I find is that it has helped me not only learn and be curious about the world and see what people are talking about, but also how to be a better podcaster, how to be a better host, to kind of learn from the different kind of styles of how people ask questions, of how people, dig deeper into conversations and so forth. So yeah, I look for sort of intellectual curiosity to drive it. I mean, I subscribe to many, like I said, I named a few here, but I subscribe to a lot of podcasts. And I really look for kind of the, social recommendations. I look for, in some cases, when they have sound bites or audiograms, I kind of listen to that or teasers. And in the rare case, I do also look at transcripts, right? And we can talk about that later. So Siddharth, we talked a lot about the technicalities of a podcast, right? I know this has been also a very fun journey for you, and you related stories about the various recordings of podcasts. So can you talk about some fun stuff, some musty stuff around recording podcasts?
Sure. So back in the days, when I was based in Delhi and starting 100x Entrepreneur, so whenever I got an opportunity to travel to Mumbai or Bangalore because of some work, I used to make sure that, I try to make most of my day when I'm recording. So for example, while in Mumbai, I used to record 4 podcasts in a day in different locations. So I used to travel by Mumbai local because in a trafficked city like Mumbai, going by a cab and reaching the 4 destinations on time in a single day, which are at 4 different, corners of Mumbai, would not be possible. So carry my 2 mics and podcasting equipment, to 4 different locations. That was very interesting. At that I did it at a multiple number of times. For example, when I was recording with you last year, I traveled to Whitefield. I did 2 podcasts in Whitefield and then back coming, did one in Koramangala, one in Indiranagar. So that's been very fun for me. I would say tiring, but really fun to make most of my day. Another interesting uh, 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 the fact is, so VCs, when they invest in a personal branding endeavor, a pod coming on as a guest on the podcast, they are very particular. And one of my friends, who will not name, he's a very popular VC. Once we had recorded, he asked me to share the file, and he said, I have missed something. He said, I'll not trouble you, to ask you to come again to my office. Let me come to your home and add the missed part. So I learned, the humbleness and art of detail, which is particularly amazing from a VC at that instance. So Amit, how has being a podcast host helped you, in the art of asking questions, and where do you use this art besides the podcast?
Yeah, to be honest, this has been the biggest sort of professional learning, right? Obviously, you can listen to a lot of the guests in other places. They've talked about it, they may have blogs, videos, whatever. But how do you get the most out of a guest? How do you get the most insights, the most information, perhaps in some cases, the most entertainment, like in the case of Mr. Sanjeev Bikhchandani? And the only way is to make the guest really comfortable and to ask a lot of open-ended questions, right? So different guests respond in different ways. Many guests, like Mr. Bikhchandani or like a Kunal Shah, they want to kind of play the first ball as a Yorker incoming at 145 kilometers an hour, right? They don't want to prepare for it and want to be on that edge. But there are many other guests who are a lot more deliberate and thoughtful and are equally insightful and are equally entertaining and so forth. So how do you comfort the guest? How do you ask open-ended questions? How do you kind of be curious? How do you listen fully intently? I actually went and listened to some, podcasts on how Oprah Winfrey and Larry King do interviews. And, Oprah does it like nobody else, I think, in the world. And of course, she does way more than podcasts. But she's fully present and in the moment, right? And not really looking elsewhere. So that has, of course, had a huge impact on the rest of my professional life, even dare I say personal life. So in many cases, I kind of go into this mindset of, okay, Amit, be a podcast host, right? Don't try to opine here. Don't try to lead the witness. Really try to see where is this person coming from. And so I literally have a scribble note for myself that when you get into trouble or you get into an intense conversation or into a conflict, I immediately put that trigger and say, be a podcast host, and actually defrase the thing. And actually, I listen to the person better. And actually, the thing gets, much more collaborative. So it has actually been quite a interesting journey, just this notion of being able to be fully present, asking questions more openly.
So I certainly believe that podcast hosts have less fights with their wives.
Big side benefit.
Amit, also on the art of asking open-ended questions, can you share more details on it? Like a difference between an open-ended and a closed-ended question, and how do you lead that?
Absolutely. So, and a closed-ended question for 100x Entrepreneur Podcast, which we are recording this about, would be, hey, how did you get to, 20,000 subscribers on email, right? A closed-ended question could be, how do you get so well rated or whatever, right? Even that's not fully a closed-ended question, but, open-ended question is, what was your motivation to start this, right? How did you even come up with this idea, right? How did you have the consistency or the persistence to carry on, right? Things which don't have a yes, no answer, things that don't have a Boolean 0 or 1 answer, things that go into the motivation, the drive, the intent of the person. And once you connect to that, then amazing insights flow, right? Because then it's not scripted, right? Then it's not, even for guests who want to be prepared, there are some guests who will force you to send 10 questions in advance. But even for those guests, when you go a little off script, when you go a little to the underlying kind of motivations, drive, what made you do that? It almost like the question you're just asking me now. This is not in any script or anything that we've ever talked about before. It suddenly will get you to be much more natural and much more insightful and much more, authentic. So I think that is the way. Just the simplest way is don't ask yes, no, 0 or 1 factual questions. Ask more why questions, more perhaps even how questions, not too many what questions.
And has it helped you being an investor?
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, not just an investor, right? Being a professional, being a board member, being a husband, wherever. So like I said, this has become probably my one biggest learning from this whole thing. When in doubt, go into a inquisitive, open-ended, Socratic questioning method, and immediately the other person feels connected to you, right? And immediately the conversation, like I said earlier, becomes more collaborative. So I think it's been a big revelation and very helpful. Of course, one needs to do it more consistently all the time. When you're in the role of a podcast, a host, then you're doing it naturally because that's what you're supposed to do. But I think the flip is true as well, right? So Siddharth, let me flip this question back to you. How has this changed you as a person, right? Because you've been doing it for much longer. What has this meant to you as a person? What has this meant to you as a professional?
So, Amit, being a podcaster has taught me, the art of building meaningful relationships. So it's not transactional for me when I bring on any guest. So after our episode is over and it's published, even guests have reached out to me for intros to other guests, or I have reached out to them for intros or any, life advice which they seem to be area to be proficient at. And podcasting has now become like a spiritual pursuit for me. So when people ask me, what do you get out of building a podcast, or will it be like mainstream as a video or YouTube? I say, I don't care, it's because I'm not now worried about the outcome, where it leads to me. So it's almost like, running a spiritual marathon for me. And we are recording this today on a weekend where we could have been both relaxing, right? And this made me a more consistent person in my life, in my all other endeavors too, because I realized things will be built in one day, neither career nor my personal relationships. I have to invest in them every day. So one of the quotes, which I is Kunal Shah shared it. I relate to it very much. That success is not owned. Success is rented out every day, and you have to pay the rent each day.
Absolutely. No, I completely agree with you. Oftentimes, even I would get called in the early days of our podcast. Both the iterations about, hey, so what is this doing? Why are you guys podcasting? Is this leading to deal flow? Is it leading to some, whatever? And you're like, I didn't even think about that, right? That is not why we are doing this. Obviously, it does have an impact on your long-term brand. Of course, it does have an impact on, people seeing you add value to the ecosystem. But I can tell you for a fact that this has led to 0 deals or transactions at Prime. But it has led to a lot of interesting conversations, lots of learnings, and lots of people being grateful. I mean, entrepreneurs or even influencers or even fellow VCs come back and say, oh, I didn't know that about this person, or I didn't know that about this way of thinking or problem solving and so forth. So I agree with you that you have to think of it as a much more spiritual pursuit than either making money or doing transactions or whatever.
Yeah, with that, we talked a lot about, being a host and being in the shoes of a host and learning of a host. What traits do you find an interesting guest, and how to be an interesting guest?
Yeah, this is a very interesting question, right? It's, like they say, right? Great engineers may not be great managers may not be great leaders may not be very inspirational. So not necessarily everybody makes a great podcast guest, right? I think I can give you a few characteristics of ones that do. I think the number one that comes to mind is to be authentic and to be genuine. It sounds like a cliche, but it's very, very true, right? So one person that comes to mind, at least from our podcast guest, is Anshuman Bafna. And when we talked about his podcast, it was a very short one, maybe 25, 28 minutes, about the exit journey of MyGola. And, it was a pretty tough time for Anshuman and his team and his family. And he really just laid it out bare, right? In terms of what was happening to his life relationship with his wife, what was happening to, so many other things. And literally, I was later asking him, should I strike that off the record? We can edit it out. And he was like, no, I want it like it is. So I think authenticity is definitely one that comes to mind. The second is really to focus on insights and focus on what is new, what is surprising, what is different. So that is another thing that I think the best kind of guests do. We just recently recorded one with Ashish Gupta, who's joined us as partner emeritus. So the uniqueness of the insights is very, very interesting. And the last one I will add is, the experiential learnings, right? So there's a lot of gyan out there, right? So we don't need gyan, we don't need, the regurgitation of books and so on. There are other forums to do that. but what is it that you have felt and seen and, learned and observed? So I think that is really, really key, right? So if I had to summarize, I would say authenticity, novelty, as well as experientiality, right? Those are the ones that I have found to be very, very interesting. Siddharth, you also got a lot of different guests, right? And a lot more of them. What have you found that makes a very interesting guest?
My most successful episodes on 100x have been where have the guests have literally laid bare bones their secrets out. So people wouldn't think why would a guest open so much. For example, Gaurav Munjal, he came almost a year back on 100x. He shared that Siddharth, this is my entire learning, and I'm sharing it on 100x Entrepreneur Podcast. I have 8,000 notes in my iPad. And for each thing I read and each video I listen to, I record notes. And he has a ritual that daily 5 to 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., he has to be in a reading mode. So when they let out what really made them and not afraid that somebody might copy or what will other person think of them, those episodes are I really cherish even today listening back to them.
Absolutely. I'll add one more thing that occurred to me. I think you need to get into the mode of the podcast, guest, in the sense that listen to a couple of episodes in advance, at least get some thematic idea from the host of what is being, because a lot of these folks, right, like whether it's Gaurav Munjal or Sanjeev Bikhchandani or Ashish Gupta, they can talk about like 100 things.
Yeah.
So what is the theme of the podcast that you want to go after? I think that's something that is worth, if you're a guest or you're invited to be a guest on the podcast, to really find out and collaborate on, because then it becomes, I think my point being deeper about some theme is far more interesting than being very kind of broad and shallow about like 100 different themes, right?
Amit, so podcasting today, has many elements. So one is the actual audio, which can be long, 30 to 45 minutes. And one is the transcript. So how does, a transcript play a role in a podcast?
Yeah, so actually this is something we did much later in the journey, right? Because a lot of people don't necessarily have the time to listen to a podcast. Earlier, when we in the pre-COVID era, when we were commuting a lot, there's a lot of dead times and all that, right? So you would probably squeeze in your favorite podcasts, etc. So I think transcripts are really important. I think segmenting the podcast is really important. I think the timestamps are really important. That said, humans do read much faster than they listen to audio, right? So they probably, even a typical average reader will read at 250, maybe 300 words a minute, whereas on audio, certainly at 1x speed, you will probably listen to 150 words a minute, right? So it's literally like a factor of 2x, even for an average use case, right? If you're a speed reader, it's much, much more different. And I personally like listening to podcasts, but I like reading books. So I don't do so much on Audible and audiobooks than relatively compared to, say, reading, right? And the reason I like listening to podcasts, not because I'm a podcast, host or a guest, is because I think there's a lot of nuance in the voice that gets lost in the transcript. So I think if you're just seeking for, some specific soundbite or some, okay, what did they say about, innovation or about go-to-market or something, then maybe the transcript is a good supplement. A good hack perhaps would be to listen to it while having the transcript in front of you, right? I don't have stats as to how many people do that, but I think that combo can make it very effective, because I think listening will make it much more engaging and therefore the retention will be much higher, but the transcript will make you seek much faster and the segmentation. So that's been our learning for our Prime Venture Partners podcast. Great, Siddharth. So as we kind of get to the wrap up here, you started this as a labor of love and it continues to be a labor of love for you, right? I'm sure there are a lot of people listening to this who are probably going to be inspired to start a podcast, not knowing what the heck they're going to get into. But nonetheless, if there are such people and listeners to this episode, what would you say, should be the secret sauce? What should be the kind of roadmap to becoming a successful podcaster or to starting a podcast?
So rather than putting it, how to be successful as a podcaster, I would say how to get started in podcasting. That's the first aim. And to do that, anybody who has that aim has to start today rather than procrastinating. Let me get the best set of tools and assemble them to start it. Right, as I shared earlier, I started recording audio on my mobile and sharing it on G Drive before I even launched a subdomain on SoundCloud for the podcast. And second thing is, I was very curious about how VCs work, right? And that curiosity is still as high as it was when I started, right? I get to learn so much from every new VCs. It's just that, everybody has their own life journey, and everybody has worked with so many entrepreneurs throughout. So my curiosity remains, the fire remains the same too. So that's why for me the niche has been VC and entrepreneurs who have scaled 100x. That's why the name even came 100x entrepreneur. So because my aspiration was to become a 100x entrepreneur of what when I was after the acquisition and when I started the podcast. So that has been so somebody who is starting a podcast has to choose a niche rather than doing it in a very generic way. And other important part is you have to learn editing, hosting, operating email client like MailChimp yourself, posting it on social media yourself, before you think that you can get a team for it. It's almost like building a startup. You have to dirty your hands in everything, be it product, be it sales, be it distribution. And if you are consistent, because podcasting is still in overall a niche space of content among blogging, among videos, which have taken the world by storm. The results you might want to achieve will not be achieved in a single month or a single year or maybe even 3-4 years, but your pursuit of love and curiosity should keep going you forward. And for me personally, podcasting has given me a rocket ship of growth, a network of venture capitalists. I landed a job in Prime because of podcasting, and later in Amazon Web Services because of that, because of the network and the meaningful relationships that I had built and my learnings in it.
Wonderful, wonderful, Siddharth. And I know you do this with passion and with love and selflessly, even though you also benefited from it. That's the beauty of the situation. So congratulations once again on nearing 100 episodes for 100x. And look forward to listening to more and wish you the best for your podcast.
Thank you so much, Amit. Amit, just before closing the podcast, I would love to learn from you. Your team's personal learning from this endeavor. It's been more than a year, I believe, of relaunching the Prime Ventures Partners podcast. What it has brought to the entire Prime team?
Yes, Siddharth. So it's like I said, it's been very, very rewarding in terms of bringing, amazing insights, right, and access to people, to entrepreneurs, to other fellow VCs, to influencers in the ecosystem. So, much like you, in our case, we were not chasing VCs, right, as the curiosity. We were chasing people that are moving and shaking the world of entrepreneurship, right? People that are moving and shaking the world of, building companies, of leadership, etc. So I think that has been probably the most rewarding thing, right? To kind of get those insights, to renew those relationships, in some cases to make new relationships, with people, and so forth. So I think it has been really kind of, with all humility, more of a paid forward kind of a effort, and I would say that the rewards have been more in that, right? To say when somebody stops you and says, "Oh, I listened to that episode and really changed, the way I was thinking about my product or my go-to-market or fundraising or whatever." Those are the rewards for now, right? That has really moved the team. Every time we hear something like that, from people, could be friends, neighbors, people on Twitter, social media, that is the gratification, right?
And has it also helped, like, say, your portfolio of companies that, hey, Amit, can you connect me to Anshuman Bapna? I heard his episode. This is a learning which I would like to know from him.
Yes, it has actually. So while I said it hasn't led to any transactional activity in terms of deal flow, we also occasionally carry both our entrepreneurs that have been funded by Prime on the podcast, as well as others like Anshuman, right? And we recently had, Kabir of Dunzo, and we, from time to time, we will have other, non-Prime portfolio companies. And most definitely people reach out for connections. People reach out for, just sharing the learning that had an impact on them. So it has definitely had a first order kind of benefit. But like I said, I would just say, we don't think about it as a transactional benefit, and nor is like the objective function of what we're going after, right? But yes, there's definitely been those where even other VCs have gone and looked at some company to fund, even though that was not the intent of the podcast, right? So those things have happened.
Thank you so much, Amit. It's been wonderful recording the second edition of V2 of the 100x Entrepreneur podcast with you.
Thanks, Siddharth, for having me.